Hey YouTube, Kitmans89 here. I apologize for the lack of activity. I just finished up my college semester and I only have one more to go before I graduate. Yay! Okay, now as most of you know, I play Magic the Gathering, but my boyfriend plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, because we wanted to spend more time together, I actually got together a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck to take down to our local card tournament and play. This deck happens to be a Dragoni deck. Now I'm going to go ahead and share with you why it's my favorite. First of all, I got 3 Dragoni ducks. He is my main card in the deck that I really need. He is a basic staple. Whenever this thing is brought onto the field, I can bring one level 3 or lower dragon type Dragoni monster from my graveyard and equip it to him. And what also makes him really great is when this card, for every Dragoni card on the field that I control, any card, it can be a trap card, spell card, or a monster card, this card will gain 200 attack for each of them. He himself will give him his own 200 point boost, so he's not just 1500, he will be 1700, which makes him very viable. Okay, next I have my main tuner, Dragoni Phalanx. Phalanx is my main tuner, and he's my favorite little card. Why? Because once per turn, while this card is equipped to a monster as an equipped card, by a card effect, I can special summon him to the field. So if I have him pitch to the graveyard, and first turn I bring out ducks, I can go ahead and equip him, and then special summon him, and bring out a level 6 almost instantly, providing they have nothing to stop it. My next card, I run 3 Dragoni Legionnaire. This card I use mostly whenever I can't get a hold of my ducks. But what makes this card really good is whenever it's normal summoned, I can select one level 3 or lower dragon type Dragoni monster in my graveyard and equip it to this card as an equip card. But the main purpose I use them for is the second effect. I can send one Dragoni card from my spell and trap zone to the graveyard to select one face-up monster my opponent controls and destroy it. If I cannot go ahead and use anything for synchroing that turn because of something stopping me, he is my main card I'll use for that. My tuner that I normally use with him is Dragoni Alkalies. Alkalies is my only other tuner I have. I only run 6 tuners. He cannot be special summoned as a monster to the monster zone, but I must use him in the spell and trap zone. Because whenever he's sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, I can select one card on the field and destroy it. So if I use Legionnaire, and Legionnaire has Alkalies equipped to him, I can use his effect to go ahead and send Alkalies to the graveyard, but Alkalies' effect will also go off. So that's getting rid of 2 cards at once. My own personal tech for the deck is using Dragoni Arma Mistletoe. I choose to run him over the 5-God Dragon combo only because there have been too many instances where I have not been able to go ahead and ditch all my dragons to the graveyard in order to go and use Future Fusion. So I just think this is the better route. On the first turn, if I have a Phalanx in my hand and him and let's say 4 cards that really won't help me out that much, I tend to go ahead and summon Phalanx and then special summon him by sacrificing Phalanx. So since he has the same effect as the other ones, I can get a dragon type Dragoni monster in my graveyard and equip it to this card. I can bring back Phalanx, special summon Phalanx, and then synchro for level 8 right off the bat. He has won me quite a few duels, actually. Okay, on to the spell cards. I run 3 of the field card Dragon Ravine. This card is my main card for in the deck in order to get off most of my combos. It has 2 effects. Once per turn during my main phase, I can discard 1 card in order to activate either one of them. I can either add 1 level 4 or lower Dragoni monster from my deck to my hand, normally being ducks, or I can send 1 dragon monster from my deck to the graveyard, normally being Phalanx, however you want to say it. But this card is the one thing that saves my butt a lot of time whenever you have those really bad hands. Next, I run 3 Terraforming. Whenever I don't have my field spell and I have one of these, it's like getting a free Dragon Ravine right off the bat. I also run 3 cards of Consonance. This card reads, discard 1 dragon type tuner with 1,000 or less attack points to draw 2 cards. So if I really need to find a way to get my tuners into the graveyard to bring like a level 4 out and then get a synchro summon off, these things come in handy a lot. especially whenever you need something that you know is in that deck, but you just can't get it right now. I also run 2 Mystical Space Typhoon for those pesky little face-up cards you cannot get rid of in the Spawn Trap Zone. Like, let's say that you have an opponent who is having Roll Oppression out. That really hurts my deck. So I pack in 2 of these just in case. Some staples I have in here. Dark Hole, everybody knows what that does. Giant Trunade. I use Book of Moon only because there are some times where there's a big threat and I don't have anything else to stop it. I am Monster Reborn and Foolish Burial. Whenever I really need to send a tuner to the graveyard and I have no other way to do it, Foolish Burial is my key. Now onto the trap cards. I run a grand total of 3 Dark Bride. These things have won me duels so many times, it's ridiculous. I will never part with these cards for on a main deck. It negates the activation of a spell or trap card and destroys it, but the only downside is your opponent gets to draw a free card. That's the only really big downside. But this thing is really great whenever you're running Dragonis. Okay, I also run 3 Compulsory Evacuation Device. Whenever you have, like, let's say Staros on the field, and you really can't afford to destroy it because it'll just negate it, this is the one way to make sure it gets off the field in a hurry. I also run 2 Bottomless Trap Holes. I'm thinking about possibly using regular Trap Hole over these, but I have not assembled a side deck together yet. So that's going to be my next project. If you guys have any suggestions for what could be good in a side deck, preferably against either machine decks or 6 Samurai, that'd be great. I could use all the help because I'm pretty new to building my own decks. I also am running a Mirror Force staple. If you don't have Mirror Force, get one. And my last card in my main deck is Eternal Tribute. Whenever a deck is known to swarm against me, this is the one thing that saves my butt. Okay, I have a basic extra deck. It includes Magical Android. Yes, I want to get Catastor over this, but this really isn't too bad because it has 2,400 attack points. It's a general synchro, and whenever it's still in the field at my end phase, I get 600 life points. That can be running in handy sometimes. I run 2 Vajrayana. I'm looking for a third. If anyone has an idea where I can get a third one for a pretty good price or a trade, please let either me or my boyfriend know, since my boyfriend's the main trader. That's ZeroMagnumX. I'll send him a link in the description. I also run a Gaia, the Force of Earth. He's just my general level 6 whenever I really need attack points. I'm also running 1 Gilbolg, I think that's how you say it. He's one of my newer synchros, so I haven't got a chance to really use him that much. But his special thing is if this card attacks or is attacked, during the damage step, I can remove from play only 1 winged beast type monster from my graveyard to have this card gain the attack of the monster until the end phase. So if I have Legionnaire or Ducks in the graveyard and he really needs extra attack point boost, I can do so. So this way he can stay on the field for quite a while if I've used up most of my synchro materials. I'm also using 1 Branac. I have yet to actually run a deck without him, so he's just great whenever I need to go ahead and get some of their cards put back into their hands or back into their extra deck. And there are times whenever I've had to use him in order to go ahead and just stall out. I also use 1 Black Rose Dragon. Everyone should know what this card does by now, and if not, wow, I'm surprised. I also run 1 Ancient Fairy Dragon. This thing I use mostly whenever I really need something to stay on the field in defense mode for a while and wait until I get a better card. And I can also use her effect to go ahead and special summon 1 level 4 lower card from my hand, or I can go ahead and destroy a field spell. And if I do, I gain 1,000 life points. So let's say I am on a duel with another deck that really needs a field spell to work, and I don't have mine. Like, let's say another Dragoonie deck, or maybe even a Karakori one. I can go ahead and use her effect to go ahead and destroy it, and I gain life points on top of it. My next card is Dragoonie Knight Trident. I really haven't seen much play with him, but it can be done. All I need is 2 Legionnaires and a Phalanx, I believe. If not, I'll think a way around it. He requires 1 Dragon-type tuner and 1 or more non-tuner Winged Beast-type monsters. Yeah, you can basically see where that goes. Once per turn, I can send up to 3 cards I control to the graveyard to look at my opponent's extra deck and send an equal number of cards from there to the graveyard. So if they have a Stardust Dragon that you know is sitting in there and it can really hurt you, you can use him in order to go and get rid of it. General Synchro I also have is Scrap Archfiend, 2700 beater. And what's unique about this one, I'm running 2 Stardust because I'm tired of having people take away my only Stardust and I lose hope. So I can use him to negate half the destruction cards that are out there. I also run 1 Colossal Fighter. I use him mostly to go ahead and ensure that during a battle phase, if he's destroyed, he can come right back. So he's my constant field presence, and if I'm versing any kind of deck that has warriors in it, he gets an attack point boost. I'm also running Red Dragon Archfiend. Why? Whenever I have a deck that likes to stall and it's basically a defense type deck, I can use him in order to wipe out all the defense position monsters my opponent has after the damage calculation. Also during the end phase, I can destroy all their monsters that I control that not declare attack this turn. That's the only downside. And I do have 1 level 9. It's Mistworm. I'm considering looking into other options, preferably a Trishula, but Trishula isn't really available to me right now. So I use an oldie but a goodie, Mistworm. Whenever this card is synchro summoned, I can return up to 3 cards my opponent controls to their hand. So if I have a couple just sitting out, like let's say that I had a Legionnaire, a Dux, and a Phalanx just kind of sitting out there on the field at once because one of them had their effect negated, I can synchro them together and bring out Mistworm in order to put back 3 of the cards that were really hurting me at the time. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the deck. I really don't have much else to say except that I think this is the first deck I really got a chance to really connect with and see a win off of it. The one person I can really thank for this deck would be my boyfriend, ZeroMagnumX. I would recommend to check out his channel if you really enjoyed this deck. He is working on Mech Lords, and he is trying to get together a few other cards. So if you wouldn't mind giving him a look, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, if you have any questions, comments, or ideas in order to make the deck a little better, please go ahead and let me know. I prefer that you have no spamming. If you start spamming me with comments that are either repulsive or just plain out criticism, I will delete them. Okay, well I hope you enjoyed the video, and you can look to see more activity from me soon. Okay, KitMeds89 out.